Hello everyone and welcome to Ender'sVRcade. Today we are playing Blade Sorcery with the Star Wars mod. There's going to be the very familiar General Grievous, and those of you who can and are other big Star Wars fans such as myself, please go ahead and note in the comments any of the lesser known characters I failed to identify. For example, that Miralyn, I think the name of her species is, from the Old Republic, one of your crewmates. That was the Grand Inquisitor, very briefly. And that one we didn't really even have time to identify. So one of the goals for my gameplay session here is to get a great workout using the Cat VR. You'll see my heart rate displayed in the bottom right corner, as well as the feedback through my bHaptics gear. So you'll see it highlight wherever the motors are activating on the arms, chest, or face to give you an idea of how great an immersion experience this can be. That's going to be Kreia from the Knights of the Old Republic video game. And here, of course, we have Count Dooku with his trademark curved lightsaber, which I actually decided to grab. Some of these elements of the game or some scenes are cut out because I am using the LIVsoftware, which is a great way to integrate my game avatar or character with my real world view via the webcam. However, it's sometimes the camera can't really track things perfectly and you'll end up seeing a wall, so I've cut out some of those clips. So of course that was Maul, and here's a random Sith apprentice. A lot of those again in the Old Republic series. And yes, I can kick as well. So I am using, well, mostly full body tracking. I'm using two Vive Trackers, one on each foot to capture my kicks. But I couldn't get a third one to track for the waist. That's just, I think, a conflict with the Cat VR. The waist actually works as a directional sensor, so I think there was kind of a doubling up there. Or a conflict, essentially, because there's two sensors in that area. That was a Darth from, again, the Knights of Republic MMORPG. Really amazing cutscene if you look up the opening of that. I think this is Darth Bane as well, another famous Sith Lord. And here, of course, we have Darth Maul post-Phantom Menace. Pretty interesting the way they brought him back. And if you're wondering why I'm not dying, yes, I am cheating. I'm using invincibility mode because otherwise, with all these mods I'm running, it does take a long time to reset every level after a death, so we're just playing through. And if you're wondering about that lightning, yes, you do have some built-in spells that are part of the Blade Sorcery part of the game that you can use as force powers. Great sound effects in this game too. All parts of the mods that fans have put in. Periodically you'll hear some lines from some of our favorite characters.
I am the master.
And there goes the master. Jumping's a lot of fun in this game too. It does have to be activated via a button press, but it's great to do a swipe downwards at these characters. Sometimes the skin of the character that's supposed to be showing takes a little while to show up. You notice that just there. And sometimes the lightsabers don't completely track my actual controller movements. That's just a little bit of latency. So here we are, of course, in the Emperor's Throne Room from the prequels, and this is a 3 vs 3 match. So 3 Jedi on 3 Sith. I'm playing the role of Jedi here. We got Darth Talon in the background from the expanded universe set far in the future. And we just took out Darth Maul as well. Again, you can see how I can run or walk quite a bit of distance and get a decent workout in. And of course, I can actually backpedal. That was a big improvement with the C2 instead of the C1 for the catwalk. It's a little tricky to figure out, but it's pretty great immersion once you do. I love how he went flying there. Funny realism there. I actually got stuck because my lightsaber hit the ground. Does anyone know that guy who just went down? I definitely do not. Here's one of the sisters, or the Inquisitors. I can't keep their numbers straight. We got classic Luke and Count Dooku again. Some good dialogue from Count Dooku and older Obi-Wan Kenobi. Darth Bane again, and here's one of those weird camera angles I was telling you about where Liv can be a little challenged, but it's much cooler to have it, I think, than when I do mixed reality recordings without Liv, where you have to see myself in the corner instead of integrated into the action like this. There's a Force Lightning skill. I will say the fighting is kind of tricky to figure out. Sometimes you never know exactly when your lightsaber swing will actually decapitate or actually do some damage or just hit the character you're looking for. Although I do have a good run of that here. A lot of people have asked me what it's like walking on the catwalk. It is a slippery surface where you're held in place with the waist strap, and it is more of a slide mill, as some others have said, compared to an actual treadmill. Again, backpedaling is a little tricky to figure out. Strafing's even harder. You won't see me do it a lot, especially in this game. There are adjustments you can make to the sensitivity of the catwalk, but strafing's been harder to figure out in this one. Of course, it's a great entertaining way to get a workout running or walking through a video game, as opposed to just sitting down or even using your arms with most VR. But it's also because there's a lot of resistance from walking on that slide mill. And I was in slow-mo, and the Emperor's voice was pretty funny there. Speaking of interesting Star Wars characters, I believe there was Darth Maul's brother, Savage Opress from the Clone Wars. Pretty great addition to his story and the story overall. So I thought it would be appropriate to use a double-bladed lightsaber. You can actually get some accessories that will connect your two controllers together and make the immersion even better. Here, of course, we are on Mustafar, the site of the famous duel between Obi-Wan and Anakin Skywalker. And here I'm using one of my favorite lightsabers, at least for the game. They're based off of tonfas, kind of what you see policemen use sometimes. And they're not really practical as a lightsaber in the real world. I think you don't have a lot of strength and are gonna find the angles pretty difficult, but in VR, where these things are weightless, they are a lot of fun. And of course, there's Luke Skywalker in his master attire in the background, and someone else is gonna show up in a minute here. A big fan favorite, Mara Jade from the Expanded Universe, originally appearing in the Heir to the Empire series by Timothy Zahn. And it's great to see her inclusion here. There's just so much dedication by the fans who made this mod. The only shame here is that I do have to defeat her, but at least I'm showing her more respect than Disney did. It is nice to see that a lot of the Expanded Universe characters are getting built into the new TV series, and hopefully we'll see that continue. Running is pretty interesting in the catwalk. It can be activated a couple different ways. One is, in this game, when you swing your hands faster, it'll activate the running speed. So some games require a button press or an actual action of some kind to increase your speed. Others just have a single speed set throughout, like Half-Life Alyx. You really can't run, however, there are ways around that with mods. And other games like Pavlov, one of my favorites. You can see another video on my channel about that. You just run as fast as you want, up to the maximum speed. And here, of course, I'm using one of the Inquisitor's lightsabers, which is showing the really neat helicopter or spinning mode. It's not the most effective thing in the world. It at least isn't killing myself. Just ignore that lack of immersion. It does make a few hits on the enemies, but it's just not as fun as I would hope. But it is cool they included it. Now, dual wielding, however, this is probably my favorite way to play the game. And you may have noticed earlier that little purple ball is a telekinetic ability built into the game, which of course I can appropriate as a force push. Here's the Grand Inquisitor, again briefly. He's not so grand in this game. And here's another one of the many iconic scenes that the modders have built into this game. It's actually not part of the outer room. It's another map pack. I'll try to remember to include a link for it in the comments. And it is great to run around on this map, or backpedal in this case. And here I am again fighting Asajj Ventress. What's really neat is they actually built a custom curved dual-bladed lightsaber, just like she uses in the series, that can attach or detach. And this is going to be Pon Krell's lightsaber. I probably should be wielding two of these, but I don't have four hands. And this is obviously a modded or fan replica of Kylo Ren's lightsaber. It does have great reach. Essentially, it's a Claymore-type sword in the non-modded game. This is actually about 2 hours of cut and recorded gameplay, so I got a pretty great workout. According to my smartwatch, I burned 2,000 calories. Again, here we have a fight with Darth Vader. Here I'm using Ahsoka Tano's pair of lightsabers. One's a shorter Shoto blade. Another nice detail the modders have created. And we're in the docking bay for one of the cruisers in the fight over Coruscant in Revenge of the Sith. And of course, Grievous here. Be nice if he had all four arms working, but that really isn't in the game engine, so it's cool that they included the lower arms there at least. And now, of course, we have the Darksabers, plural. Not exactly canon, but just a lot of fun. And they look really cool. You can even hear the sound effects. Savage Opress again. The characters are randomly generated. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please give me a like, and any comments or feedback would be appreciated as well. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe for future videos.